everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Yes, I've been gone for a while. Yes, I've been gone for probably a month. But when life happens. You can't stop it. At all. So yeah, life's been there. At the start of the month, it was going. I don't really want to talk about it. It was not that great. But then going into the later half, I don't know, the third week of October, the fourth week of October, the first week of November, and this week of November, so that's 4 weeks. It's been going pretty good. So, guess what? After 4 years since I had left school until now, I've been homeschooled. I finally got my first friend. I know, quit your flaws. I'm just good like that, right? But yeah, so yeah, now I'm back with the stuff, with the shows. I'm no longer doing Promised Land. I tried to record a video, but I just didn't feel like that good about it. So Promised Land has been kicked off. But today we're doing House of David episode 2, season 1. I do want to put a disclaimer. Season 2 will not be done until I think it's March. So like my breakdown, because it's some weird thing with the licensing of who made House of David that um I don't know why I'm yawning so much, but they have to have this certain thing in Prime, and you have to pay like $10, I think, or it might be like $7.99, but you have to pay like $7.99 for early access. Otherwise, I think it's free after 6 months, and so October, November, December, January, February, and March. Yes, so March. So yeah, season 2 will not have it until March. But let's go ahead and hop straight into episode 2, season 1, House of David. So we start with a flashback to David's mother. Now keep in mind, as I talk about this, in the show, David does not have a mother. Because she was killed by the lion. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, this is how we learn that David's mother is dead. And it's a scene of little David going out into the field, meeting a lion. His mother comes, then she sacrifices herself. Jesse comes, picks up David's mom, puts her in a bed, and basically this is like the start of his abusive relationship with David. And you'll learn that in literally a second. And so, words are uttered to Jesse by David's mother, but the camera's in the other room, so we don't actually know what she's saying, and it does become an important thing in later episodes. Maybe like episode 7, maybe, I think. Because it's close to the end and what's important. But yeah, so then we cut to the present. So Jesse is standing outside with like other men who seem to be ready to go like on a watch party, idiot, on a search party. And David comes back. He's all bloody, and he has the 2 teeth of the lion, and he's excited. It kind of, I guess, gives. Oh my goodness, no. Gives the 2 teeth to, I guess, his little sister. I don't really know who she is, but gives the 2 teeth to his little sister, and Jesse is like relieved that David's not there, and then wants like the hugs over. It's not even once the hugs over, but like after a few seconds, he just slaps David in the face. And that made me mad. And I don't like Jesse. I don't think Jesse did that in real life. He could have. There's nothing in the Bible that says he didn't, from my knowledge. Um, but yeah, so that's very, very weird. And then Jesse's like crying as David runs off. Like, you just hit the kid. Or I guess he's not a kid, but you just hit your son, and then you just think that he's not gonna go run off. So yeah, don't know the thought process behind that. But now into the next scene, and yes, I'm sort of like glazing through as I watch, because I have not watched this in over 2 months, and so yeah. So the next scene is in the fortress of Gibeah, the new capital of Israel. That's what it said, so I'm just going over it. And we see Mahal, who will eventually be, and I think even is in season 2, David's wife. So either is to be or is David's wife, because after David kills Goliath, and this is not spoilers for the show, just read the Bible. After David kills Goliath, they have a big celebration, and Saul gives a hand to I can't think of the other sister. It's not Mahal. I can't think of her name. Alright, well, the other sister, Saul gives the hand of the other sister to David, and before they can get married, he takes back his request and gives her hand to Adriel, who I hope is not like how he is in the show. Otherwise, I will literally feel so bad for a dead person. But, and then Saul gives Mahal's hand to David, and then they actually do get married. And, in the show, and we'll eventually, see it, in the show, David definitely does have feelings for Mahal, and Mahal definitely does have feelings for David. Now, in the Bible, it is kind of unknown if he did or if he didn't. Because in, like, where it is, Mahal's hand has been given to David, whatever it says that Mahal loved David, but it never says David loved Mahal, or David cared for Mahal, or anything about Mahal. And so, like, was he happy with this marriage, or was he not happy? Obviously, I could say something that, David did not know at this time. David did not know at this time. His son had not betrayed him yet. His life was not terrible yet. But you know what? It's all good, right? Okay. And so, going back to the whole scene, we can see Mahal with her father, Saul, in bed. And he is clearly just now waking up. And he seems to be fine from the curse. He's not mad. Like the crazy mad. And so she goes to get Jonathan, and I'm trying to do this all at once, but it's kind of hard. I don't want to keep cutting for absolutely no reason. Mahal is basically breaking down, and saying that she's not having a good time because of Saul screaming and all of that that's going on with Saul. And, that's understandable. Like, that would be a hard watch, because I'm sure the show does its best, but you couldn't replicate how that would have been. So, yeah, doing a good job. Also, I am cutting because I don't like not being able to speak. So, alright, so in that scene after Mahal's breakdown with David, oh my goodness, with Jonathan, dude, I'm telling you, the actor for Jonathan looks exactly like how I would picture David. I'm sorry. I don't think the actor for David is bad, but like sometimes I wonder if what it would look like. But so after that, it shows the Queen, which I don't remember what her name is, Saul, and Abner, who is the commander of the army of Israel. And so Saul basically tells him that what you hear cannot um, come out of your mouths to anyone. Only us three know. Basically, is what he's saying. And so he tells them that Saul plans to anoint another one. And you can kind of see the queen, which I don't remember reading, which I'm only on chapter 22nd of 1 Samuel. But I don't remember reading anything about the queen kind of like being this head of power sort of thing. But the House of David does, and I feel like that might have been how it was, since Saul was driven to madness, and maybe some days he could not make the decision. But we can kind of see her freak out because she realizes that she's losing her power essentially. Because if Saul's not anointed, they can't live as king and queen, and so she says that's treason though, and um, she tries to like comfort Saul, but it makes no sense because he's clearly already distressed. And so she tells him, "You've been anointed 3 times. Like how could this be that you're not gonna be king?" Which, if you read the Bible, the magic numbers 3, 7, 40, 5, 2. But yeah, and then Saul tells Abner that you must find and hunt down and kill whoever Saul anoints. And Abner is very reluctant on doing that because he says, Samuel's power is not of this world. My blade will do nothing. Clearly showing that he has some fear of God in him. But he agrees regardless. And so the queen and him kind of walk out. And the queen tells him, I've asked you to do many things, but I'm asking you to do this. Whoever Samuel anoints, kill him and all who's in the house with him. And Abner does not say nothing. He does not say anything. He just kind of gives this look like, I don't want to do that. He didn't say that. And so the queen basically sees this, and so she asks him, who do you serve? And he gets mad because he's obviously getting tested, and he says, the house of Saul. Now, if he had said anything else, he probably would have been killed. So, if I was Abner, I would have said the same thing. Right? And so then the scene cuts into... You're then getting annoying of all the cuts. But we cut to the scene with the 5 kings of Philistine, and Achish, who is the one of the 5 kings, obviously, and that's why he's here, tries to talk with the other 4 kings and tells them that Amalekite has fallen, Agag is dead. Who, if you don't remember, Agag was the king of Amalekite, and Samuel brutally ended his life. And so, they all kind of make fun of him. Like, you want to unite all 5 armies of Philistine when there is not one leader great enough to do that. And so they all make fun of him. They all say that he's just blinded because Saul killed his father, Lachish's father, in war, and he's just trying to get back revenge. And so they all run off, right? And, or I guess they don't run off, but they all leave. And Achish sits on his throne and tells whoever's on, like, this side of him, the left side of him, he tells them to ready the horses. And when the person asks, where are we going? Achish says to summon new gods. So, Easy little mind there. Who do you think it could be? Who do you think he's talking about? Well, if you haven't figured it out, it's obviously the Giants. He's obviously trying to figure out the Giants. So, anyway, we get this interesting scene of a birthday party in Bethlehem. At least I think it's a birthday party. I'm pretty sure it's a birthday party. Where, I'm just kidding. Merab, that's it, Merab. That's the other Saul daughter. Okay. So, this birthday party, at least I think, with Merab and Mahal. And this is like the first time Mahal and David are meeting, and they kind of have like this weird moment where they kind of look at each other. And then Mahal ends up basically going to David and just listening to him play like right next to him, like a this sort of position, you know? Um, and yeah, I mean, like, dude, how's that David gets so many things right, and then it gets so many things so wrong? Because I can tell you, if anyone back then would have been with let alone just some random lady, but alone with Saul's daughter, the king, you would be killed on the spot. Like, back then, like, obviously now, you could see, like, a guy and a girl hanging out, and, like, no one's gonna look and think, oh, well, we're just gonna have to go kill him. No, but back then, if you were left alone with a guy or left alone with a girl, and you were obviously the opposite gender, then you would, like, be killed because they would think you had committed adultery, regardless if you did or not. And so, rightfully so, um, Joab ends up coming over, and he's like a guard for Merab and Mahal, and he basically talks to David and tells him to stay away. And so, not really much happens after that. They leave, and then it's like the morning of the next after party. I don't know if they're all drunk or whatnot, but they're all just kind of, they've set up pots or I guess glasses, and they're just throwing stones at them. And David ends up doing like, whoa, 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 and David ends up doing like that, like with whatever slingshot. He just does like, and then he ends up breaking all three. And this scene's kind of just long. It's kind of filler, and David basically, this is all of David's brothers, and he basically says he wants to go to war, and they all kind of make fun of him. And the oldest, I think his name is Eliab. Eliab tries to like basically kind of protect him and get him not to go, and so it's basically what happens. And then we see this moment of Abner and Jonathan kind of fighting, and they basically just talk about Saul during this whole thing. It's nothing really important, too important. And then Jonathan and Saul end up sparring, and it's going pretty well until like the middle of it. Saul loses it because Jonathan rings up Samuel, and then he ends up basically hurting him because he's like stabbing, and it's wooden, so it's not cutting, it's just stabbing him in the gut, and he ends up falling. And yeah, so alright, so we have this little filler scene. So we have this little filler scene of Saul and Mahal. So Mahal is in the library, I guess, maybe like writing room for all the people who write, the letters and stuff. And Ahimelech, I don't know, I can't remember exactly how to pronounce it, but apparently he's been keeping a secret of Mahal being in there, because she's not really supposed to be in there. But Saul walks in, and he basically tells her that he's glad to see her in there because in Benjamin they don't have a copy of the Law of Moses, and so her reading it is like making him very happy. And so he he talks to her, and she says how like she's reading about the bronze snake, and she asks like, why are you not healed? Like, if because she asked him, do you think the bronze snake was real? And he says, my heart tells me it is. And so she tells him, or I guess ask him, then why won't God heal you? And you can see that his face changes for a second, but then he gets up and he just like does it jokingly. Who says I'm not healed? Clearly, he's not healed because he's cursed. But yeah, and so then he goes on this whole thing about pearls. He's got like this pearl necklace for the queen, and he basically has like one of those father daughter moments where the father asks like, "Hey, is this a good gift to give to your mother?" And so it's one of those moments, right? And I got cut off by an ad, so I don't really remember what happens next. So guess what happens? Cut time. You guys all right? So if you remember, I said that Eliab was trying to basically talk David out of joining Saul's army, and so he takes him to the I forget what it's called, but whatever the giants had burned down and killed all the people in that area, right where Reuben's from. And so Lachish is there, and so David and Eliab get split up, and David actually talks to Achish, and Achish says, "Your people have a legend uh, of giants." And David says, "Yes, sons of Anak," and that's where the angels came down. So if you don't know about giants, which I'll explain again when the episode comes, in the Bible, it says that the sons of God came down and took the daughters of man, and so then the Ephraim, I believe is what it's called, aka giants, were born, and then that's why we have the giants, David. David and Goliath. But the giants aren't as like giant as you would think. Like as a kid, you believe like an actual giant. No, the giants were like 9 to 10 feet tall, which I mean that's still pretty big because like the highest world record is like 7 foot, and so that's pretty tall. But like yeah, it's 10 feet or 9 feet is what they are, and so then Achish basically asked David like what 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 is your God? And your God split the Red Sea, and so David ends up grabbing like the talons on whatever the clothing is, whatever those are, like the two things, like they were very important in back then. He grabs them kind of like as a way of like scared but looking for God. And so Kish tells David, he says, "Can your God save you now?" And he holds up a bow straight to his chest. And then Eliab ends up shooting a spear, and it doesn't kill Kish, it doesn't hit David, it just stops the bow. And so David flies out the window, because this is like on a second story, I think. No, it wasn't. No, it's not on the first floor. But there's a window right next to him, right? And so he jumps out the window and goes and hits Akish in the ear, and it's pretty cool, honestly. And there's a fight scene with Iliab, and then once they leave the city, Akish is up on like the highest point near it, and he just starts throwing arrows, and eventually does like one of those cool in the movies, and it's a really cool shot, and then it just went into Iliab, and then I got cut off by an ad. So yeah, just you know what it is. It's another finish off for this video. We get into this final scene where it's a filler scene of um of the of Saul and the Queen, and they're just kind of together. Um, and there's a poor servant that will meet its demise in the next few episodes. I think it's actually the next episode, in episode 3. Um, it's pretty sad. And so the Queen waits for Saul to go to sleep, and then it cuts to Jonathan, who has this like armband thing, and it appears he had a lover at some point, but they may be dead, whoever made it, because he seems really sad in the moment. So yeah, but then and he hears a like metal clanging, and he goes out, and he sees Saul, and um, Saul has the sword of Agag, and so he is like following the Queen. He's my chair's making noise. He's following the Queen with that sword, and he's like he's saying, "I'm gonna slay you, Saul, or Samuel. I will slay you," and all this stuff. And then once Jonathan steps in, he starts throwing it everywhere, and Abner hears the noise, and he comes, and he stops him. And it's almost like Saul is like conscious, but isn't in control, because he ends up saying like, "Jonathan, how has this come to this?" after he's done snapped out of it. And then to end the episode off, it's Eliab and David, and so okay, I kind of gotta hold the camera because I messed it up, but I think you guys could tell that something was wrong because of the way that I was. I decided to watch it, and that's because all of a sudden I heard the okay. You know what? This will work. All of a sudden I heard the door open. Okay, and my dad's at work. Okay, he left like 2 hours ago, right? I think my grandma's asleep because she lives near us, and so I don't expect her to be over. And so I just hear the door opening, and I started getting confused because I heard my cat outside, and he was making noise. And so when I hear the door opening, and it's taking like a minute for it to open, I grab my knife, undo this, and I'm getting ready to go grab my other 3, and I go by the door because I hear someone start walking in, and I hear boots on, okay? And so I start I'm texting, I'm getting ready to start texting my mother and tell her someone's in the house, and then after I do that, I'm gonna bust that door open. I'm gonna just charge in and pray that the Lord protects me, and then I look outside because they're starting to leave. This is crazy because in my mind I'm thinking this is a burglar. What's going on? And so I I open my blinds because I'm right next to the like outside, and I see my grandmother. And so yeah, just yeah, my heart's racing. I'm like stuttering. I'm speaking really fast, which only happens when I'm like startled or I'm nervous. Mostly that. I seem to stutter a lot when I'm nervous. I also seem to like repeat words, and then I'll forget them like that, and I'll say a lot. So yeah, What a great way to end this video, thinking I just got burglarized. So yeah, I think I'm done for now. I don't even know if I got out the last thing. Um, but yeah, just fun morning, right? Alright, peace. Peace, bye, love each and every single one of you. If you don't have a friend, one is coming to you, just like it came to me after 4 years. So, don't worry, someone's coming for you. Peace, bye, love each and every single one of you. See you on the next one. Bye.